Welcome everybody here tonight. At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Brinkley for prayer.
Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for the beautiful day that we have given us today. Also, thank you for all the many blessings you have bestowed to each one of us here and to this great county we live in. Lord, as we get ready to start this meeting, we ask you to help us do our job and make good decisions to help this county and the people. We ask that these decisions and the work we do here today is pleasing to you, and we ask you to continue to walk and guide us, Lord. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our May 13th meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as it is.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Motion been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Mr. Hendrick.
Good evening, Board. You have an application by Kevin Kuhn and Karen Kuhn for a special exception permit for a second home on tax parcel number 08300-A046D. Zone agriculture is located in Election District 8 on the east side of Highway 15, north of its intersection with Route 700 Turkey Road. Reference D Book LR-5-653.
Anybody here representing the applicant would like to speak?
Good evening, I'm Karen Coon, 699 Turkey Road, Clarksville, Virginia. I have approximately a 79-acre farm. It fronts on Highway 15 as well as Turkey Road. My daughter's planning on building a house on some of the frontage on Highway 15, and that's why we've asked for the special exception permit.
Thank you. At this time, I'd open the public hearing on this application. Anyone wishing to speak? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. What is the wishes of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we accept this application.
The motion been made to accept this application. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries.
You also, the planning commission at the last meeting last month adopted the definitions of terms to zoology parks in Article 3, and also Article 21 was recommended to be approved. And the definition is pretty much explains what the park is. Article 3, it goes under the ag district for the use regulation of a special exception permit. And then we have the zoological park, Article 21. It sets out the type of animals, how they will be inspected, how they're disposed of any animals. And just wanted to bring this to your attention before your July meeting.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No questions?
Add anything, Russell?
Okay. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hendrick. Conveyance of property to Mecklenburg County School Board. Alex, I'm going to let you give us a small background on that.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. At the first item, we have three items of property tonight to discuss. The first item involves land that was acquired by the county as part of the Mecklenburg County High School Middle School complex. It's about a 30-acre tract that is behind the school. It is being used for agricultural related purposes, ag program, and it has been kept in our name. And so this action would merely transfer it from us to the school system, and then the school system would consolidate that with the big main parcel in the front to have one deed for that portion of the complex.
Okay. At this time, we'll open the public hearing on the conveyance of this property. Anyone wishing to speak during this public hearing? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. The wishes of the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to transfer school board.
The motion's been made to transfer the property. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Okay, Alex, on the next one, a little background on that.
About 1 year ago, actually 1 year ago at the June 2023 board meeting, we issued a request for interest for the Parkview High School site, which had then been given to us as surplus from the school system. After a considerable process that included much public submission of ideas, we ended up with 2 finalists for the Parkview High School site. One finalist, it was the Parkview Boosters Club, and the other finalist was what was then Echelon Resources and is now the Parkview Lofts. This first component is for the Boosters Club, and we have reached a purchase and sale agreement with the club and that would, if you so approve, transfer the eastern side of the facility. So the gym would be about the dividing line, and then also the what was the band field in front would be the westernmost extent of where the boosters would then be, and it would go from there east. So it would include the gym, it would include the parking, and it would include the ball fields as they currently exist. Of course, as a reminder, the proposal would be to develop a youth athletic complex for the many leagues that currently use the facility, and would be something to provide a lot more opportunity for our young individuals here in the county to participate in organized sports. This agreement would transfer the property as soon as we sign, with closing by the end of the month. The big components of this is that the property itself will remain, since it's a public park, public use, would be tax exempt. So there would be no taxation that would need to be paid by this nonprofit, but the property would be restricted to public benefits. So recreational uses, mentoring, tutoring, educational uses, day camps, and childcare activities. If in the future the nonprofit were to no longer exist and would to seek to sell the property to a for-profit business, the county would then retain an opportunity to go back and reacquire that property at that time. So those are the key tenets of the purchase and sale agreement with the Parkview Boosters Club.
Okay. This time we'll open the public hearing on the purchase and sale agreement with Parkview Boosters Club. Anyone wishing to speak on this? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and the wishes of the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we convey this property to the Parkview Boosters Club.
The motion's been made that we convey the property. Any discussion from the board?
You might add to that to enter into the contract, Mr. Tanner. There's a lot in there.
And enter into the
Yes, sir.
contract with the Parkview Boosters Club.
Okay.
What would that be with inclusive of the key attendance?
I'm sorry?
Would that be also inclusive of the key attendance that he has mentioned?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir. That's where he got.
As
that
Yeah,
from.
that's a summary of the that was a summary of the contract.
As
Yeah.
presented.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. One more, Alex.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. The last one is the remaining portion of Parkview High School, which is the school facilities themselves. All 4 of the buildings on the site. Well, I guess it's three buildings on the site. The main front school part, and then the 2 back buildings. This contract is, I will say, a little bit more lengthy than the other one. But some of the key components is that we will, as you may recall, have the opportunity to have up to 90 units of multifamily housing be developed on that existing school building. So it would be an adaptive reuse of what is currently an empty facility. Some of the key terms of this agreement is that there is going to be some work that is done before the property actually closes and transfers. There will be a study period involved. During this period, there will be a partnership between the developer and the county to solicit grants, particularly from the Virginia Brownfields Fund, to do abatement of the facility, asbestos control material removal, environmental assessments, and the like. If at the end of that work, the building is still deemed to be suitable for this development, then the developer will then have the option to close the study period and advance to construction. There is also, of course, the component of the county providing public wastewater to the site that was included in the CIP you adopted in May. That is we already have water to the site, but they would need developed public wastewater in order to be able to execute the development with that many housing potential on the site. After the end of the closing of the study period, then there would be a construction initiation period that would be for a 9-month period. If at the end of that 9-month period there is no construction, then the board would then and the county would have the opportunity to reacquire that property. If the construction commences, then the property would transfer, and at that point, the developer would need the rights to the property in order to satisfy any financing from private lenders that they would secure. It's envisioned that there will be about a 48-month time frame as part of this development, and also another key component of this purchase and sale development agreement is that the use would be restricted once complete to housing for at least 5 years. And that is in order to maximize the tax credits involved in it, but also to make sure that the investment that we are getting from this facility is for the purpose that we set it out to be, which is the housing. So there would be a 5-year restrictive covenant included in this agreement. And then the last key component of this contract is that we will be shutting the HVAC off to the facility. And our hope is that that will dramatically diminish the energy usage that this facility is currently drawing, and therefore reduce the operational costs that we are paying to keep the facility up and running, even as it is vacant.
Okay. At this time, we'll open the public hearing on the sale and development agreement with Parkview Lofts. Anyone wishing to speak?
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Edwin Gaskin with Echelon Resources. I'm the applicant here with Parkview Lofts LLC. I think the county administrator's summary is excellent. We have had a good collaborative relationship working with the county through the complex problem solving that goes into these kinds of sites. The timeline he laid out seems enormous. We're hoping to beat all those expectations. We've already done quite a lot of work in terms of grant application and other logistical items. Together with the Parkview Boosters Group, we worked out subdivision lines, thought through utility elements, basically trying to get a running start so that when we do get these various milestones passed, we'll be that much more advanced. We're very excited, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any members have questions?
Alex, the 5-year start after completion, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else wishing to speak? This time, go ahead.
I just have a question.
Well, this is a public hearing. You can speak, but we're not going to answer any questions.
Okay, I understand. I know all that. I'm William Lawrence from Chase City, Virginia. To all the board members, Mr. Chairman. On the zoological park up there, I must have missed something there. Did y'all vote on that?
Well, this is a public hearing. No, we did not. That was informational. This is a public hearing on the conveyance of the property at Parkview. So that you
I have a
can,
question on that also.
you can do that during public comment. That's when you need to speak then
Okay,
on that.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That'd be good.
Appreciate it.
So anyone wishing to speak on the Parkview lofts in this public hearing? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and the wishes of the board. All.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do
Okay.
that.
All in favor of that motion, then say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good idea.
Kevin, VDOT report.
Redo that or? Okay. I think we might have to redo that motion.
I couldn't hear the motion, I'm sorry.
We need to spell it all out.
Oh, okay.
The motion would be to authorize the county to enter into the agreement with the lofts as presented. And that will take care of all that Alex has outlined for you.
You want to repeat that, David?
That's my motion.
That's a good one. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Kevin.
Thank you, Ross.
Yes, sir. All right, good evening.
Lazy.
Y'all should have got our monthly
You
report
got the
and board
next one.
package. Couple things I want to go over. This year's rural rustic project, 757 All Goods Lane, 668 Dry Creek Road. Both of them scheduled to start after July 1st. Mowing is ongoing in Mecklenburg County right now. Primary mowing is complete the first cycle. Secondaries, we're about 50% in the county right now. Bridge approaches paving out on Route 58. That is scheduled to start up in July. And we did get the traffic study back on exit 12. And the signs are on order to update those ramps and get them up to standards. That's all we've got this month, unless y'all got any questions.
Ms. Kevin, did you, take care of the little project I asked about last time about on the hill of a convenience center?
Yes, sir. I talked to the superintendent over there, and they're going at it right hard on the mowing.
Yes, sir.
They're going to go up there and trim that bank down. Actually, do some excavating and stuff. Give us 30
I'm
days
just
or so.
asking, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we've got it on our radar. We're gonna take care of it this summer and get that cut down for you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Two things. Are there any long-term plans for doing any trimming of trees along the interstate? I've noticed this is happening in other counties, but not in Mecklenburg County.
Yes, sir. It was scheduled to be done this year. It was a reduction of some maintenance funds, and that ended up getting cut off the table. It's still a priority for the interstate, so hopefully next year, when the new budget comes out, hopefully it's enough money in there where we can go ahead and put them on. But me and Tommy, we poked the IMO, our interstate munch, right hard. We want to see that done too. It definitely needs to be done in Mecklenburg County as well.
Yeah. Second thing is the caution light there on 58 westbound lane where it will be across from where Theater Road is at. One of those caution lights is burned out
Okay, we'll call that in. We'll get that taken care of.
on the westbound side.
All right, we'll get that called in.
That's all.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank him for all his work at Exit 12. I've been on him for several months, but we've been trying to get this taken care of because if we can prevent an accident there, it keeps our emergency responders out of harm's way, and that's what the goal of this is.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
All right.
All right,
see
thank
y'all
you,
next
Kevin.
month. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, I think we got a resolution for retired employee that's done a really good job in this county. Aubrey, you want to come forward?
Back up a little bit. That's good.
All right, resolution honoring Aubrey Russell for 35 years of dedicated service to Mecklenburg County. Whereas Aubrey Russell commenced his tenure with Mecklenburg County in 1988 within the maintenance department. Whereas through his steadfast commitment and unwavering dedication, Aubrey Russell ascended to the esteemed position of maintenance director. Whereas for 35 years, Aubrey Russell devoted countless hours to the diligent upkeep of preservation of all county-owned buildings and properties, ensuring their optimal functionality and safety. Whereas Aubrey Russell consistently exhibited a remarkable work ethic, always willing to lend a helping hand wherever needed. Whereas his exemplary service and meticulous attention to detail have left a lasting mark on the infrastructure and landscape of Mecklenburg County. Whereas it is fitting and proper that the achievements and dedication of Aubrey Russell be recognized and honored by this esteemed body. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors does hereby extend its deepest gratitude and highest praise to Aubrey Russell for his 35 years of exceptional service. And be it further resolved that this resolution be appropriately inscribed and presented to Aubrey Russell with copies thereof provided for dissemination to all county departments as a token of the profound appreciation and admiration of the citizens and leadership of Mecklenburg County. Thank you, Russell. All right, moving right along. We're going to public comment. And how many have you got signed up?
Jenny has the list.
21. Okay, here are the rules on the public comment. You get 3 minutes. I don't want to stop anybody, but when the light turns red, I'm going to have to do that. Just make sure you try to get what you want to talk about in that 3 minutes, and we'll go from there. So the first person.
Daniel Hendrick.
Good evening, board members. I come to you concerning two matters, both centering around the new Microsoft construction at the Ridge. I own the property located at 21958 Highway 58. And in 2021, a decision was made by the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors to rezone this area. This decision was made without any notice being sent to me or my neighbor. We only gained knowledge when Microsoft began construction across from our homes. When I recently inquired as to why my family did not receive a notice, I was informed it was, quote, missed, and that it didn't matter now anyway, as nothing could be done. My second cause of concern is the danger that this construction is causing on the highways. Workers and subcontractors are constantly pulling out in front of traffic. They are speeding and driving recklessly between sites. Over the course of the last couple of months, I have personally had numerous close calls with what could have been life-altering or possibly fatal. I visited with the Microsoft site supervisor 6 weeks ago, still yet to hear back from that particular gentleman. I have visited and contacted many agencies for answers and still don't have any. Every place that I go to sends me somewhere else. No one will take accountability, nor any type of solution being offered. I get the same answer from the local sheriff's department and the state police. Quote, our hands are tied. We do not have funding or additional manpower. They understand the concern and have received numerous complaints, but are unable to do anything. With the exception of one office, I have been greeted and met with respect, courtesy, and concerned individuals. They just don't have the authority or resources to rectify the problem. I have spoken with our county administrator on 2 occasions, and he assured me that he was going to make each of you aware of my concerns more in detail than I have time here to give. This board made a major decision that will affect not only my family, but neighboring families as well for many years to come. Decisions made without giving citizens the right to due process as guaranteed in Virginia Code Section 15.2-2204 and 15.2-2206. I was told that many people never show up at the rezoning meetings. Is this perhaps because they, like myself, never received notice? I ask that you all please reflect on the real dangers motorists are facing, and please consider funding the necessary agencies to protect the highways. And additionally, I am also asking that an investigation be done to determine why the neighboring property owners were not notified of the rezoning hearing as it was required to be done. Thank you, and I apologize for reading, but with the time constraints, it's impossible not to.
Jerry Cleamer.
Get my papers apart. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jerry Clemmer, 199 Plank Shore Drive, Boynton, Virginia. And I'm here to speak against the ordinance and the proposed lakeside retreat. First off, NIMBY, not in my backyard. A zoological park is referenced as an enterprise. Webster's definition of an enterprise is a new, difficult, dangerous, or risky business. Adjacent property owners are going to have their privacy invaded and their land values decrease. If zoo-type parks are approved, they should have a mandatory wide buffer between the zoo and adjacent properties, such as mandated for solar farms. The validity of the enterprise. Enterprises such as this should have a site plan and rendition of how the facility will look. What is their business plan? What are projected expenses and profits, and where is the financial benefit for Mecklenburg County? And sustainability. Private zoos or wildlife retreats do not have a good performance track record and frequently fail for various reasons. Enterprises such as zoos in climates such as Mecklenburg County usually close during the winter months. And wild animals. This zoo will have wild animals in confined spaces. It is not if, but when one or more animals escape. Animals do not like to be confined. Farmers have liability insurance on cattle in case they get in the highway and are hit by a vehicle. The farmer is insured for damages to the vehicle and injuries to occupants. Mecklenburg County occasionally experiences ice storms, tornadoes, and ferocious straight-line winds. Perhaps a higher risk than weather is people. Humans could get high and decide it would be fun to let some wild animals loose from the zoo. And in summary, I think I speak for the silent majority and ask the Board of Supervisors to do your due diligence. If you approve this ordinance to allow zoological enterprises in Mecklenburg County, would you want this in your backyard? Thank you.
Let me just interject in 1 second before somebody else talks. And I understand the passion that people have when they bring issues to the board and that kind of thing, but let's kind of hold down on the clapping and that kind of thing, if you would, just for the respect of the time that other people have to talk and all. Thank you.
Am I being called to speak? Is that why?
Yes.
I'll be back. I just found out about this morning anyway, and I'm glad that I did. I'm very much opposed to this operation in the location that it is. If it were in a different location, it might be more reasonable. This is on a 4-lane highway backing up to people's personal homes. And the listing of animals has gone from exotic to things that I see every night when I'm driving down the road: bears, skunks, possums, raccoons, squirrels. I wish I could get rid of squirrels. I have a squirrelinator trap. I'm trying to catch them. But I don't think that we're being told the whole story. It changes with almost weekly input from whoever, I don't know, but I don't feel like changing
the zoning without appropriate input from the people of this county is reasonable.
Amen.
And I would like people to seriously consider this. I just do not want that on my backyard. And I'm sure that the other people that I know here are very opposed to it because of the possible danger. Now, a few bear walking down the middle of my road on the way to the farm, I see that. And if anybody's here who had never seen a skunk or a squirrel, I'll be happy to take you somewhere. So I don't think we need a park for that. And I'm not saying boo on the park. I'm saying boo on the location. Perhaps some of you landed gentry would like to use your farm for that.
Next.
Lori Huber.
Hello, my name is Lori Huber. My husband Ross Huber and I live on Highway 58 in Boynton. We are here to urge members of the board to reject the county zoning ordinance changes adding zoological parks. We were unable to attend the May 30 Planning Commission meeting where this topic was on the agenda, but we did watch the meeting online afterward, and we were surprised there was almost no discussion at all of the actual content of the proposed zoning changes. There's 3 actions that are being considered. The first is a proposed definition for zoological park. It is confusing and unclear. The definition refers to animals but does not differentiate between animals and exotic animals. Will exotic animals be allowed in these parks? Which animals specifically are considered exotics? There's also language about an exception for, quote, foxes or other animals, but it's unclear what this relates to. This definition should be revised and made much clearer before the board considers adopting it. The second thing being considered or being added potentially to the zoning ordinance is special use permitting. It seeks to add a section 3-1 EE. Well, 3-1 EE already exists. It has to do with processing meat. So there's something awry there. The final part is the new Article 21 for zoological parks, which is the main part of all of this. Has 3 parts. Specific restrictions, references are made to regulations for zoos, but there's no wording that requires compliance with these regulations. It just announces that the regulations exist. It doesn't say you must comply with them. The section has reference to exotic or wild animals, which is different from the definition section that I just mentioned. Here, specific animals are listed, but then of course, again, it says, or any other animal, quote unquote. The board should not approve such vague and inconsistent language. Members should limit any sort of zoological park in our county to a specific list of acceptable animals. The second part of this Article 21, it talks to animal enclosures. There's 4 entries in this section. They're a single sentence. There's a 5th entry, possibly. There's just 2 words, physical facilities. There are no specific requirements or protections included here, only terms like adequate and sufficient. I'd like to know who determines what's adequate and what is sufficient. The third part of Article 21, it talks to safety and security for staff. This section uses a series, again, of vague statements about barriers and fencing being, quote, sufficiently strong. The section needs to cite specific standards for the industry of zoos or provide detailed requirements that are tailored to the list of animals that would be allowed in such facilities.
Ma'am, I'm gonna have to stop you. 3 minutes is up.
Okay, please do the zoning change right or do not do it at all.
Yes. Matt Talley.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the pastor of, Mr. Chairman, I'm the pastor of New Liberty Baptist Church, and I just represent the parishioners that are here. Half of the individuals that are here and are either parishioners of that church, they live and worship in that area. And my concern is for them and their families. They are really in that area where it's zoning. I don't have the specifics, but I just got word this morning that they were gonna have this. But I do come to represent them because we worship and live in that area. And I asked the board to really consider that location And so I don't have a long drawn out message, but I see the consensus of over half of the people here are really strongly opposed to having that. Yeah, so we actually, Board of Supervisors really consider the families that are in that area. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Sharon Cottle. Barry Cottle.
Yes.
I'm Sharon Cato, and this is my husband, Larry Cato. We live right down from the area that they are talking about having this facility for the zoo. And we strongly oppose of that because technically, as far as the exotic animals, no one wants to wake up at night or even during the daytime and have these animals out there. And do Mecklenburg County have the manpower if one of these animals were to get loose? So we strongly oppose of that, especially in people's backyards, for the safety of the citizens of Mecklenburg County, and especially our children in Mecklenburg County. Thank you.
Linda Beck.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Linda Beck. I'm at 120 Chandler Road, Clarksville, Virginia. My neighbor is Mr. Gene Chandler, and his property actually backs up to where this park would be. So it's pretty close to the family farm. I was here in December for the first meeting, and I brought up a lot of points about how close it would be to someone's house, and they were trying to accrue the property on 10 acres, which is just above where they're trying to purchase the 67 acres now for the park. And it was actually, they were actually going to put it on 10 acres at that time. And I stressed the point of how close it should be to a private home. If you're going to have animals, any animal that's enclosed, technically speaking, will sometimes, I've researched other parks and they have gotten out. So when you use the language, according to the paper in the Mecklenburg Sun, the front page, that the language speaks that they have covered the safety issue. I don't think you can ever cover the safety issue of an exotic animal or a wild animal escaping, especially when we already have wild animals here in the habitat, in the ecosystem here already in the county. We have bears, it's already been repeated, the animals we have here. And when you look at this topic, if you're looking at it like this thing here, and it's like, it's a well here, and you're looking at what we're speaking of. If you look at the topic as a whole, I'm not really downing zoos or zoological parks. I think there's a place to put one, but I don't think Finchley in a residential area near people's houses is the place for it. I don't think the homework has been done. I was here in December. I don't know if you've been working on ordinances or rules and regulations, but I think a lot of preparation or thought has to go into this. You can't just put a zoo or animals in people's backyards. There's a lot of things you have to look at. If an animal gets out and kills somebody, there's a wrongful death lawsuit. And plus, where is the money coming from to construct this? And the front page on the paper said there's a 2010 research that zoological parks bring in billions of dollars.
Ma'am, I'm going to have to stop you now. 3 minutes
So
up.
anyway, I'm opposed to it. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Claire Dalton.
Mr. Chairman, I'm opposed to the zoological park. I own a fox pen in Mecklenburg County. And in this enclosure, I have to have at least, it has to be at least 100 acres in this enclosure. Mine is right at 154 acres enclosure. I don't feel like it should be a minimum amount of acres that somebody can come in and put a zoological park in. The reason I'm saying this, Richmond Zoo is 160 acres. Natural Bridge is 180 acres. They're looking at between 50 and 60 acres. How are you going to care for the animals and take care of the waste? There's a major stream that joins this property, and look after them. There's no way you can do away with the animal waste. Thank you.
Lynn Edwards.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I'm here tonight basically to ask a few questions. First of all, I read in the newspaper where this zoo would be educational opportunity. I just want to let you know that as a Mecklenburg County school board member, we have not formally been introduced to anything like that. And I've been on there a long time. We have been approached by certain things like the fishing team. Our attorneys told us not to get involved with the fishing team because of the liabilities. We talked about having a swimming pool. The board, of course, we had to look at that as and our liability for our children having a swimming pool. So that didn't happen with our new complex. Our main concern and my main concern is the liability of our children. All it would take is for one animal to get out of a cage with one of our children there and kill a child, and we're all responsible because we produce this travesty. That's just one of the things I want to say. This board and my board have worked together continuously to create an opportunity for education and to see animals. We spent $164 million on an agricultural complex at our high school. And if anybody wants to see animals and see it raised right, please come up to our high school. It's open to the public. It belongs to the public. But I don't think it's really time to have exotic animals in the county. That's my opinion and not the opinion of Mecklenburg County School Board. Thank you.
Daniel Parker.
Good evening. I'm Daniel Parker. I live at 71 Quedel Drive in the Finchley area across from where the proposed build site is. I retired out here after 24 years of service. So imagine my surprise when I found out that the property that we hunt on and my kids ride their dirt bikes and four-wheelers was being projected to become a zoo with predatory type animals and other enclosures. I didn't really come prepared to talk. So I just wanted to, along with my other neighbors in the immediate area, just speak on the opposition of the plan to move forward on this. And please take our opinions not so lightly. Nobody in the immediate area is in wanting this to move forward on that bill. Thank you.
Wes or Jason.
My name is Wes Shepherd. I am the treasurer and clerk of Parkview Boosters Club. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank each of the board members for supporting our youth initiative there at the booster site. We're really excited to get started. It's been a dream and a breeze working with Russell and Alex, and thank you all. I remit the remainder of my time.
Donna Colbert.
Hi, I'm Donna Talbot. I live on Prehistoric Road, directly almost across from where this facility is being proposed. I would like each of you to consider that whatever is trying to get out may also be trying to get in. I read the paper. 8 out of the 15 animals that were listed already are in our area. We see them all the time, everything. You wouldn't even have to have a facility for that. You can just go outside, as someone said earlier. When these animals, if one should get out and someone gets hurt or killed, is that something you want in your conscience? Because it will be too late then. If someone, my grandchildren live within a mile of this facility, play in the yard all the time. If something should get out, it would be not great. Suppose it ran out into 58, hit a family of people driving down the road, which could easily happen, kills a family. Just think about that. Also, and I think our deputies and who's here tonight can attest to this, how many sirens go by every day? I live right close to 58, every day, back and forth, back and forth. And they will keep these animals in a constant turmoil and uproar. I think I'll speak also to what Susan Hunley said earlier. I hear a lot of things changing with this. Nothing seems to be concrete. I don't understand why the public can't just have something put out there on Facebook or whatever that we could hear and read and listen to. It's like bits and pieces of things. And finally, I would also ask each of you, is this something you would want in your backyard, as said earlier? I don't think so. I don't think any of you would be happy if someone were going to put this facility with as many questions as it is about it right now. We don't really know what's being planned. I don't think anything is concrete. But if y'all would just consider that, because there are a lot of things that could go wrong with this. Thank you.
Russ Colbert.
Good evening, board. Thank you for listening. I'm Donna's husband, live at 72 Prehistoric Road, Clarksville. And my main objective of this is who regulates this? Is it Department of Agriculture, VDGIF, Sheriff's Department, Animal Control? Who is going to make sure that these conditions set forth in the thing in Mecklenburg County as a whole, not only this one project, but anywhere in Mecklenburg County? Who is responsible for enforcing any of these objectives or regulations? I just feel like there's a reason wolves are on the tundra, and there's a reason that big cats are in Africa on the savannah, and there's no reason for them to be in Mecklenburg County.
Next, I'm not sure, is it Stacy Collerson?
It's Steve.
Sorry.
Handwriting is not that great.
I apologize.
I'm 65 years old. I have never come to the Board of Supervisors meeting in my life, but I felt like it was very important for me to come tonight. These people brought up a lot of good points, some that I had, so I won't repeat those. But the one thing that I will repeat is our children. I had a son, he's passed now. I have another son that lives in Clarksville. He's got a daughter. She's getting ready to have a child. They come to my house. They play in the yard. My niece and nephew come to our house.
and play in our yard. I was born and raised in Finchley, lived there most of my life. In fact, I own the farm that is in question. I sold it some years ago. I realize it gives me my rights up to whatever goes there. But I enjoyed years on that farm. And as many have said today, saw all kinds of things. My biggest concern is I would hate to have on my head, if I was in y'all's position and had to vote, for somebody to come back to me, if you approve it, if somebody came back to me a year later and said so-and-so's child got killed by something that got out of that zoological park, I would never forgive myself. I don't think y'all would either. Thank you for your time.
I'm Marty Bolin, and I live at 2211 Wilborn Road in Skipwith. I'm here tonight in opposition of the ordinance to allow any application for a zoo, especially one with a special exemption permit that allows exotics in Mecklenburg County. Exotic animals such as wolves, tigers, and large reptiles belong in their natural habitat and do not adjust well to a captive environment. Possession of certain exotic species poses a serious threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the community. By the virtue of the animal's physical attributes and natural behaviors, I am opposed to an ordinance that would allow exotic animals in Mecklenburg County. I've lived here my whole life. I own farmland in Boynton, and I do not think that this special exemption permit to allow a zoo would be a good fit for Mecklenburg County. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Karen Coon.
My name's Karen Coon. I've resided in the county for 36 years. I've been a Realtor for 35 years. One of the things that I feel we need in this county is more items to attract tourists. One of the things I know the county and the towns are working on is a trail for breweries, wineries, and distilleries, which I think is great. I think that we need more family-oriented activities. It's my understanding that this introduction of this amendment is not for a specific location, but this is to allow the dialogue for us to have zoological parks in our county. The Richmond Zoo was recently visited by our children. The Richmond Zoo is approximately 70 acres. It has an elementary school right next to it. Similar sized acreage are in Norfolk, and the Life and Science Museum in Durham also has animals, including wolves in captivity there. All of those facilities, all three of them are between 65 and 72 acres. I believe if you check the track record, there has been, for the most part, no instance of issues. If the county was concerned about our children, then why would we have allowed our own children to visit a zoo in Richmond? If it was about the welfare of our children visiting a zoo, I would pose that question. Obviously, I believe that was a school-sponsored field trip. I am in favor of something that will allow more people to be attracted to our county as a destination. We have the lake, people get off of the lake, and we don't have a lot of things for them to do. I think bringing a zoo of some type to our area would be something that families would enjoy, both as an educational as well as a recreational business. And again, my understanding is that this amendment is not for a specific location, but to allow the dialogue for something to come into the county. I thank you.
Marty Champion.
How y'all doing tonight? Well, we heard it all, haven't we? So I'm gonna tell a story. My name's Marty Champion. I live at 379 Sullivan Road, Boynton, Virginia. My reasons for not wanting a zoo in Mecklenburg County is simple enough. This county does not have the infrastructure or the training necessary to handle an exotic animal or a wolf if it could possibly escape its enclosure and get loose in this county. I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine. Most of you know him, Eddie Callahan. And we spoke about this ordinance at length. Began to talk about back in, I believe it was 2019, when a bull attacked him in the town of Blackstone. Now, Eddie, he's been around cattle since he's about 7 years old, and now he's nearing 70. So I think it's safe to say that he's an expert when it comes to field of livestock. The bull had gotten out of his pen at the livestock market and gone into the community, and Eddie was called upon to help corral the animal up. The police were on site. They weren't of much help. And so Eddie walked down to where he last saw the bull. Out of nowhere, the bull appeared, ran my friend down, tossed him in the air, and Eddie landed on his head, breaking his neck. So as we talked, I began to ask myself, what does this have to do with a zoo in Mecklenburg County? So I asked Eddie, I said, you got to get to the moral of the story, Eddie. And he replied that the bull was out of its natural habitat, a pasture. It had no heifers around him to keep him calm, and his only motive was survival at all cost. So Eddie healed and is still farming today, thank God, but that day could have been tragic. So I asked you folks tonight, what is this county to do if an exotic animal or wolf escapes its enclosure and gets loose in this county? What are we going to do? Who are we going to call? Who is going to come? And what will the protocol be for that concerns the safety and citizens or their property or their livestock? The bull, being a domesticated farm animal, almost took this man's life. What would happen if it were a tiger or gorilla or someone's child playing innocently in their yard? How would we explain that the county felt that this could be a great asset to our community? Let's not stick our heads in the sand and hope this won't happen, because it doesn't take too much of a search on the internet to find, not too far from here, where all these things actually have happened. Animals escape their enclosures. They sit there all day. What else they got to do other than look at us, look at them? So there's no amount of insurance money that will heal a grieving family. Let's not make this mistake, folks. I've been fighting this thing since December, and it just keeps coming back. But I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing the way my grandmother taught me. So as I stated back in December, if I'm asking for a special exemption permit that will change the dynamics of the community and cause a general uneasiness among my neighbors and county
Marty, I'm
residents,
going to have to stop you right
then
there.
maybe I should invest in land that is already zoned for what I'm trying to do. Thank you. I'm sorry I ran over.
Got a Michelle from Sullivan Road. This is the last name?
Hi, good evening, Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors. I'm Michelle Perrette. I live on 858 Sullivan Road in Finchley. I have a horse farm. I give lessons. I breed horses there. Everybody has made great points here tonight, so I won't go over those. I'll speak personally. So my, I want to express my strong opposition to having a zoo of any kind in the county. A wild animal zoo is the antithesis of people that live in and around the Finchley area. We deliberately chose a life in the country on wide open land where there are no places where exotic animals are kept in captivity for the masses to view. These zoos are more for the city, where people don't have the country to go out and walk and see deer and horses on a regular basis. So in the city, they go to the zoo. Here, we don't live in that kind of environment. We live in an open environment where we all see horses, deer, skunks, possum, whatever. We go out our back doors and look at the nearby woods to watch our local animals in their native habitat. Exotic animals in or around my neighborhood would pose a danger to my horses and foals born on my farm each year, and anywhere else. I'm not the only horse farm in the county. My foals are about the size of a deer, would be at risk to prey for escaped animals. Another point I want to make is at my farm and everywhere else, small children walk around my farm. They're there all the time, not supervised with hand holding, because we live in the country. Kids run around and they do, what they want to do. It's not so formalized. So, they're out there and about. Anyway, long and short, please say no to allowing exotic animals in Mecklenburg County. I am opposed. Thank you for your time.
Lastly, a Duncan Bradshaw. Get the lead. Okay, that's it.
Is that it?
Mr. Chairman, I've already spoken, I know this is out of protocol, but there's just one other short thing I'd like to say.
You can come to the podium.
Jason.
We'll give you a minute.
Jason Dawson is raising his hand. Jason Dawson is raising his hand. Jason is raising his hand.
Oh, okay.
The front page of the Mecklenburg Sun, it was an article about the meeting you had on May 30th. I read the article, and nowhere in the article did it state that we had about 1,000 signatures opposing this park. So I would like to say to the people behind me, if they could repeat after me on three. 1, 2, 3. We the people say no. 1.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Chairman, I'm sorry, did the boosters also have Jason Dawson?
Jason?
Good evening. Sorry, didn't get here in time to put my name on the list. So
That's okay.
just wanted to thank everybody. We really appreciate the opportunity that you guys have given us, the trust y'all placed in us, and we're gonna do our best to make it. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Is that it, Jenny? All right, that closes the public comment section. Mr. Brankley, you've got legislative committee, I believe.
Yes, sir. The Legislative Committee met on Monday, June the 10th, 2024 at 5:30 PM in the Board of Supervisors Meeting Room, Borden, Virginia. Members present, David Brankley, Chairman, Claudia Lundy, Andy Hargrove, Dennis Spence. Others present, Jim Jennings, Sterling Wilkerson, Brenda Blackwell, Tom Tanner, Alex Gotcha, County Administrator Judy Sheffield, Assistant County Administrator, and Jenny Whitmore, Clerk. Chairman Brankley called the meeting to order. Ms. Rachel Falkstein and Mr. Mike Callahan of 3TP Ventures addressed the committee regarding the comprehensive plan update. They provided an update on the project as a whole and the recent community engagement meetings. Next, Ms. Falkstein presented the committee with a proposal future land use plan. The plan included residential, Lake area residential, rural crossroad, industrial employment, rural conservation, town mixed use, park, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Tobacco Heritage Trail off-road, Tobacco Heritage Trail on-road, future Tobacco Heritage Trails, future S-line and railroad areas. Ms. Foster defined each area on the map by intent, description, primary use, secondary use, plan, and design guidance. The committee discussed the plan and the county's future at length. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brankley. I would like to mention to the public too, you're more than welcome to stay till the rest of our meeting, but if you feel like you need to leave, you take a minute or so and leave. It's fine. Oh, you're welcome to stay. Oh, let me get them over here.
DJ.
Put a time in, we'll give it a minute.
You think they're against it? You think they're against it? I tell you something. It's the most idiot thing that, they talk about. Like I said, I'll probably have to vote against the damn thing, but the people think that, the girls, they had the meetings, they had a public meeting, tell these people what they're doing. Because that's, they don't know what they're doing. They ain't a damn one of them to be. Ain't a damn one of them to be.
The mind's made up.
But that's the whole thing.
Hey, Jenny, get Brent, move him along.
If there's a petition, some of the things they will present that.
Yeah, I heard about it.
I heard about it. Well, it's like this Thompson owned it and he sold it to somebody and now they selling it again. And so they have an option, but the people, they've been having an option for 3 months. And they told me now they won't give them cash. So, they wait. You know, they waited long enough, it's up for sale.
All right, y'all ready to get back on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, Alex, I think you're up next.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. The first item we have on County Administrator's Report is we've received a inquiry from the Southside Planning District Commission on behalf of the town of Broadnex. The town is interested in submitting a application for a CDBG grant. That's a federal housing and urban development program that's intended to do housing rehabilitation projects and improve neighborhood development. The request that comes before the board tonight is a desire to waive the building permit fees for the county in support of this project. That is an action that this board and the county has done on multiple occasions in the past for these type of applications. So that would be in line with past practice to do so for this one as well. So we would need a motion
Okay.
from the board to waive the building permit fee.
So,
Mr.
can I
Chair.
take a motion?
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Okay, motion's been made to waive of the
Request for the broad.
building permit for this project. All in
For the
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Right, I will communicate to them tomorrow. The second item before you, I wanted to give you some information as we going to begin a several months long process. One of the things that we try to do here in government is, or in anything in life, is to learn from past practices and learn from mistakes or things we didn't necessarily have the foresight to know at the time. And so that's what this construction traffic management plan is intended to cover. One of the leading sources of comments, complaints, areas of conversation that we've had in the last few months has been the status of our secondary road network, particularly in some aspects of the county. And we've had some dialogue with the Virginia Department of Transportation on this matter. And one thing we've gathered from them is that other counties, including in our region, including some of our neighbors, have what's called a construction traffic management plan. And this is a set of conditions that is added to zoning applications that govern what can and cannot be done from a traffic perspective for large-scale commercial developments. And so the county staff would like to implement this here in Mecklenburg County. But as we've seen from even the dialogue tonight, there's if we're going to do this, we want to do it right and not quick. And so in this packet, there is a several months long process that's spelled out. This will be a zoning ordinance amendment. It will be the initial introductory text will be drafted based on staff input, based on VDOT's input, based on the county attorney's input. And so we will gather all of those sources together and then bring it in front of this board in July as an introduction, bring it in front of the Plan Commission in July. And we're going to have several opportunities for public comment. And so if there are things that we can bolster in that ordinance that we can gain and glean from the public comment, we will like to do so. And we'd like the board to have that opportunity to make amendments, substantive amendments to this plan. So like I said, it's in the works, but just on a broad overview perspective, it will apply to large scale commercial development. And it will govern things like the haul-in routes that would be permitted on a site development. Whether a secondary road bed has suitable capability internally under the road to hold up to large scale vehicular traffic. Whether who is responsible for and a agreement or a consent by the applicant to either upgrade the road on the front end or to provide ongoing maintenance money to repair the road if there is damages. These are the kind of tools that we're looking to empower our county to have. And so that's what this whole process will entail. And like I said, it will take several months to implement. If we have development that comes in before this, we can impose the conditions when the planning commission considers the application. In the future, once the ordinance is adopted, it would be preemptive. So many of these items would have to be supplied in order to come before the planning commission for a hearing. So I did want to provide the board with some knowledge of what we're going to be working on here. And I wanted to provide the citizens of this county with the knowledge that you've been heard when it comes to the secondary road network. So if there's any questions, at this time, but just wanted to give you an overview of what's to come. And then the last item we have here is our staff reports. I did want to point out two things in the staff report. Number one is for building permits. We have exceeded a number that I probably think was never thought possible here in this county. And we have gone over $3 million in permit revenue for buildings alone in this fiscal year, which is far and away in excess of our budgeted estimations, which were very, very conservative. So if there is a surplus at the end of the year,
Kind of tells you what's going on. doesn't it?
that will be a contributing factor to that. The other thing I wanted to make sure to highlight here is we got updated broadband customer counts from Empower, and Mecklenburg County, for the record, has a substantial client base among the entire network, which is testament to how much work has been done, especially with a lot of these VOD applications that we've approved in the last few years, or participated in, I should say. Mecklenburg County has 2,000, as of May the 7th, Mecklenburg County had 2,807 fiber accounts in Empower, and out of a total Empower customer base of 5,557. So definitely a lot of the emphasis of those improvements have come here in Mecklenburg County. And they will only continue to grow from this point forward.
Absolutely.
So that's just a couple things I wanted to point out and highlight. And with that, you got it easy from me this month.
Did good. I figured public comment ain't your time. All right, we got some appointments to make. The term of Ms. Ramona Field of the Mecklenburg County Library will expire on June 30th, 2024. She is not eligible for reappointment. The library director, Robert Rosenthal, would like to recommend Mrs. Pam Barlow. Y'all have that bio listed below. Any discussion on that?
I believe there was another nomination as well.
Yes. It was two. Okay, I'm sorry, it is two. Skip that one. Okay. So the wishes of the board.
I would like to nominate Ms. Lafreda Ogburn, and I think it should not be the wishes of the person who is at the
Wait a minute,
library.
we're on the library.
Yeah, I'm in the library too. It should be this board wishes.
Well,
Okay,
now, I thought Ms. Ogburn was,
she's not on anything.
okay, I got it. She's coming off of that one.
She's
Okay.
already on.
So you are nominating her for the
Damn.
library board,
Yeah.
Ms. Lundy?
Yes.
All right. Y'all have heard the motion for nomination. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And motion carries. Okay, and the term of Ms. Ogburn then on the board will expire on June 30th, 2024, and she's not eligible for reappointment. What are the wishes of the board there?
We also had two applicants for that position. Is that correct?
No, just one.
Just one.
It should be in there. It's the one Ms. Lundy submitted.
Dr.
Dr.
Palfaro.
There's two. There's two.
Oh, you're right, it is, I'm sorry. They're both in there.
Mhm.
Dr. Palfaro. Yeah.
And-
then Dr. Bottoms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Bottoms.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Ms. Dr. Farrar.
Okay. Everyone's heard the nomination. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
She's the person that ran for school board, if you don't know who she is.
Okay. You got the Roanoke River Service Authority minutes in your packet there. And we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Board member matters. Mr. Tanner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to say, Alex, I agree. I never thought we'd hear that figure either, but that shows that the growth we are having in the county. And also, the hospital had their 70th anniversary in South Hill this week, and I think that's a huge milestone for our area. To have a hospital in this community really means a lot. It's helping us with our growth. And also too, the money he spoke of that we've invested in broadband, I think is definitely paying off. We're getting a lot of customers. And I did want to take a minute to share, you mentioned the service authority. Paul had sent me a few pictures of the progress of the addition to the service authority down there. So I'm gonna ask Alex just to put them up real quick.
I have no idea what order these are in.
It doesn't
If
matter.
There was an intended order.
Yeah,
I
no, it's
apologize, but.
It's all good.
All right.
But this is just the new clear well side where the water will be coming in before it's treated. You can go on to the next one. That's just another shot of it. Basically, they're taking the plant and doubling the size of it is basically what they're doing. This is the new chemical storage. It's basically a mirror image of what's there. This is the new 2 million gallon ground tank that's out front. That'll hold treated water before it's pumped out to Big Fork and other areas of the county. Then this is the new pump room for moving all of that water. Just another view of the tank and the pump house. And then that's just an overview of it all. But they really are making a lot of progress with this, and they're going to hopefully be through with it on time and on budget. It'll be a huge benefit to the county. The only other thing I'd like to say, I know we mentioned convenience center sites earlier. I know Alex has been working hard on the one in Bracy, but I do think we need to put emphasis on getting more of these completed, because I had the opportunity over the weekend to ride around some of the places in the county, and the areas that don't have them, the dumpster sites there are being abused. There are mattresses everywhere, there's furniture everywhere, and I truly feel sorry for those men that have to show up every Monday morning knowing that's what they're going to have to deal with. And I think we owe them a huge debt of gratitude for dealing with it on a weekly basis. But I do see that the convenience centers will be the remedy to that. So I'm hoping in the future we can move forward. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Lundy?
Okay, just one thing. Early on, we were talking about when I gave the presentation, I think we need to put a cap on the purchase of land by Microsoft as we did for the solar farm. If not, in a couple of years, it's going to be Microsoft County instead of Mecklenburg County.
I agree with you.
That's all.
All right, thank you. Dennis?
I just want to thank the citizens who showed up tonight to voice their opinions, especially those, some folks have left. But thank those people for coming and having faith in the process. I mean, this is what it's all about. If we can't discuss it, we can't resolve it. So glad to see so many people came out and voiced their opinions, share that information with us.
Thank you. Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. I was glad to see that we were finally able to, move forward with both the projects at Parkview. I think they're going to benefit exponentially in very different areas that are needed. It's a process, obviously, with, property like that, but I think we're going the right direction, and wish both of those organizations the best of luck with that. And the other thing was a lot of appreciation we've gotten for the tax relief for the fire and EMS. That program was really a hit, to say the least. I've had a lot of calls about that, and I'm just thankful we were able to do it and, give some respect and gratitude to the people that really deserve it. So that's all I had.
All right. Ms. Blackman?
Thank you to Mr. Russell for his years of service in Mecklenburg County, and wish him a happy retirement. Glad to see the progress with Empower, and congratulations to the town of Boynton for their successful Juneteenth celebration last Saturday.
That's great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say also thank you to Mr. Russell for all his dedication to this county. I also would like to thank VDOT for budgeting in to fix the approaches on 58. I think that's going to be for all the traffic on that primary, it's going to be a lot of thank yous probably when they hit it, and it's a smooth transition. Just want to thank all of our county employees. I just wanted to take the time to support all of our small businesses throughout the county. And I want to thank the general public, like Supervisor Spence was saying about getting involved. It makes our job, a lot easier when the general public gets involved. And I think that can't be stressed enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Franklin, don't be too hard on Andy.
If I got time for Andy tonight. Mr. Wilkinson talked about the Parkview Booster Club and the Parkview Loss. I think that's two great projects that will address some of the problems we have and some of the need we have. It certainly addresses the housing need, and the Booster Club, what they plan on doing is for the youth and stuff that I can continue to grow. I'll be honest, I'd like to see us maybe in another budget year to take a look at if we can help out some with that and get that really moving. I know they got a lot of support behind that to do that. And also I went, Superintendent Warner, I went to your vendor the other night to that dance rehearsal for my granddaughter, and I tell you, that place was full, but I tell you, what a vendor to have something like that. I tell you, that is really, really nice, and I really enjoyed that. And then, last week, we celebrated the sacrifice of D-Day for all those men. And I saw a picture, maybe some of you saw it on Facebook, with those Higgins boats going into there, and those young men, picture of those young men, 18 to 22 years old, probably. I would imagine the bullets were hitting the front of that thing when they pulled up there, and then they dropped the thing. And I read where that I think the survival rate on those first boats were like 10%. And that military in 1944 was 40% volunteers. They volunteered to go fight for our country and everything. And so I have a problem with anybody ever disrespecting our flag. And when we pledge allegiance to the flag, we really need to think about what sacrifice those young men made. They were somebody's brother, somebody's child. It's just the look of their face. I think I can't quite get that out of my mind right now, but that's quite a sacrifice they made. That's all I got.
Ms. Holger?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do thank all the people that came out to voice their opinion. This is what we need to hear more often, how they feel about what's going on in the county. This will give us opportunity to hear what their concerns are. Nextly, the growth of the county is tremendous. But we also know that Microsoft is one of the major advocates of this growth. And along with that come change. And long change with that is things that is favorable to the county, to the residents, And also there are things that are unfavorable. One of it is that traffic, and then the presence of police and so forth. But I think that I think Mr. Gottschalk talking with you, we are in the process of doing something, or at least in the discussion of doing something to try to remedify that, because it's going to become a problem, especially on Ridge Road, Old Cock Road, the large trucks and so forth. And I think, Chief, I think we said something that we could try to work on that as well. Yes, try to put something to remedify that. So we hear the voices, but if you give us a little bit of time, along with all the people that are unified for the kind of responsiveness, we'll do something about it. And then also broadband has reached my way, and I'm grateful for that. So hopefully within the next few months, I won't have to go to the graveyard to visit the dead just so I can get a signal. So I can stay directly in my home. And also, Mr. Chairman, if we ever have another major war, can you suit Mr. Brinkley, give him a cap gun so he can be in war too?
Turn me loose.
I yield, sir.
Okay, that's all right. I said we wanted to be out of here by 8:30. I got 4 minutes to talk, but if I talk that long, shoot that red light on me. You know, the one thing I want to bring up is we got an ag development meeting on July the 9th. It's on a Tuesday evening, I believe, Jude. And, you know, we've got new members. If y'all don't have an appointee on the ag committee, get with Alex and Judy and, you know, find out who is actually representing you now. And if you need to replace or appoint somebody in your district that you'd like to have, that would be fine. So we've got a young man from Virginia Farm Bureau who is going to talk on some topics that will probably be coming up in this county in the near future that he's dealt with in other counties across the state. The last thing I've got is I definitely want to mention that I had some opening remarks at the high school graduation this spring, and it was an experience for me. It's probably been 15 years since I've been to a high school graduation, and I want to recognize Dr. Warner and Dr. Wilkerson, the principal of the school. When they lined us up, Dennis was there, and we were waiting in the library. And when they had all those seniors down that corridor, and when Dr. Warner and Dr. Wilkerson were leading the group down through there, I have never witnessed such positive energy coming from those kids in my life. It was absolutely incredible. And I want to thank you for that. I mean, it was a really good experience. And then, you know, the whole ceremony was just, I mean, it was just all positive. Everything about it was positive, and those kids were positive. The people in the stands were positive, and it was just a great experience. So thank you. That's all I have. Anybody else have anything? 8:28, we stand adjourned.
Good job.
Word. 8:28.